apologize beforehand. But welcome to Freaks of a Feather. I'm Emily Wooten, and this is...
Mary Boom. Hi. Hello, everyone.
We're going to ignore the fact that my hair is super greasy today. I put too much product in it.
It's okay.
Okay? We're all going to make an agreement. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mary.
Yes.
How has your week been? We didn't post last week because we recorded this and it went tits up.
Yep.
In every conceivable way.
This is take 2, and we apologize. But it was Thanksgiving weekend, and the recording didn't go well. Thanksgiving was like, I think everybody could mostly say to Thanksgiving. I'm really fucking glad it's over and behind me until next year.
Yeah. We won't get into the personal drama that came along with Thanksgiving, but suffice it to say, there was a lot.
Yeah.
It was very spicy.
It was.
Not spicy in the good way. I bought a house. That's my new update. I have a mortgage on it, but yeah. So, I have a mortgage on a house. I'm really happy, It happened really quickly, which I'm very thankful for.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky that I found what I found for the price, because right now it's astronomical in the housing market.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it's not a rat shack. I won't be living in squalor. You remember that fucking house we went to go see with my mom? And she's like, oh, it's beautiful. It's fine. It's fixer-upper.
Yeah.
And there's literal holes to the outside where creatures can come through.
Yeah. The setting was phenomenal.
Setting was gorgeous.
Very beautiful.
Holy shit.
You did have to get past the fact that there's, major Trumpers with, the big banners and flags and stuff outside of their house. They're really, really hard or wet for Trump.
Yeah. Out in the...
If it still works for them.
Out in the hollers of Tennessee, you come across some interesting folk. I accidentally was on the Dragon, as you know.
Yeah.
Which is this winding road that goes around the mountain into North Carolina, from East Tennessee to North Carolina. And it's most popular for its bikers. I had no idea I was on the Dragon. When I first went to Bryson City, I was like, oh, this is a nice little... It's very windy. It's very interesting. Nice little drive. On the way back is when I met all the assholes. And I was like, oh, this must be the Dragon. This house that had the huge Trump banner on the front of it. And when I drove back the second time past this house, I fucking swear there was a sheriff in the front yard handcuffing a man against his Range Rover. And it made me chuckle.
You don't see sweet justice like that very often. And I've driven that way trying to get to Foothills Parkway, which is a beautiful scenic little route. It's not part of the Dragon, but you have to go this route in order to get to the Dragon. So you see a lot of ride safe towards the motorcyclists, right? Mm-hmm. And I think I know of the house you're talking about. It also said something about killing Nancy Pelosi in the front yard. I'm pretty sure.
No, that was another one.
Yeah, okay.
That was another one. But
it's real sketchy through there, for
Not
sure.
that I think that's funny. It's just fucking ridiculous. It's just so stupid.
For people that just despise these politicians.
I don't understand why I really don't understand why people hate Nancy Pelosi.
That's an awful lot of energy to put into hating someone. Usually, to me, in order to hate someone, you had to have loved them at some point. I'm just saying.
I don't think that's true.
I don't know.
I don't think that's true at all. But just love to hate.
Yeah.
But yeah, got a house. I'm very fortunate, though. Not to be... Yeah. Very fortunate. Very fortunate. Fuck it. I wish the last recording went through.
It was great.
It was so good.
It was great.
God
First of all, the YouTube video only lasted for 12, 15 minutes maybe. And then we were banging on the table and stuff, so the audio quality was less than par. So we thought you guys deserved better, and you wouldn't mind waiting a little bit longer for something that worked. So
I kid you not, I put the headphones on, I press play, and it's like, bum, 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 so Mary, bum, 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 bum. I was just like,
it
playing with the table.
It happens.
But anyways, this week, our subject is animal offenders. And by which we mean animals that suck. Animals that are assholes.
Animals that take it.
Definitely. Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But, it's a trope as old as time, don't judge a book by its cover, And studying the types of interesting individuals that we have in the past on here, serial killers, you realize that it's one of those special instances in the human race where, the clean-cut, calm, respectable-looking man sat next to the biker. You'd be surprised which one has a body buried under his stairs that he's been having relations with. It's usually the one that looks clean-cut and respectable.
Interesting. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, this is not special to humans, though. You see certain animals and you're like, oh, how cute, how sweet.
Mm-hmm.
No. So, Mary, I want you to tell me, walk me down memory lane. What was in your childhood bedroom?
So, in the 90s, and I know a lot of other girls, well, maybe in the U.S. can relate. A big thing in the 90s was to have dolphins in your bedroom. Not like actual dolphins. I'm talking about little porcelain figurines and
no, real ones.
Bedspreads and pillows and Lisa Frank merchandise, which of course was just confettied with dolphins in marine life. And that was a big thing for me. And a lot of women too, like, shower curtains and tattoos. Boys
even. Too. They're everywhere.
It was a thing.
Yeah, and we've all heard it over and over again. Dolphins are so smart. They're just so smart.
Oh.
They can recognize their faces in mirrors and they can count.
They may be, but they're soulless.
And they are smart. Okay? Now, disclosure, we realize we're anthropomorphizing animals and that there's a question of, can animals have morality? Mm-hmm. And to me, I think evidence of morality is in your ability to empathize and your ability to have an emotional response or attachment to something.
Right.
And I will say that dolphins, yes, incredibly smart. This has been beaten into our heads. They have their own whistles for different members of their families. And they are capable of forming friendships, especially with their trainers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But dolphins also have some interesting behaviors that call into this idea of morality. Because surely if a dolphin can register a friendship with a human being and respond to grieving instances, which they've said,
dolphins can grieve,
which scientists have said, then surely they have some sort of gauge of morality, right? Bottlenose dolphins will form a gang that swim and hunt with each other called a first order, which is so deceptively funny and cute.
Oh, that's adorable, right? First order of dolphins.
First order.
Yeah.
If they pair up with a second, first order, the whole group becomes a second order. That's adorable. But these alliances are an essential part to mating because, you see, this is no mere dolphin meetup. Let's hang out on the coral and get to know each other. Yeah, no, this is group rape. This is a gangbang. So yeah, These alliances are essentially formed, and they will single out a female, one female. It has been witnessed in the studies. The female always tries to escape. They beat the shit out of her, knock into her, bite her, and then once she's subdued, they all do their thing. So now you're going to say, but Emily, dolphins don't have morality. They just animals. It's nature. If some of you can form severe attachments to human beings, I think some of you have some innate morality. I'm getting so heated about dolphins.
Yeah.
No, because these are the same fucks. they'll each one of them will rape the female dolphin. That female dolphin, when she has a baby, if a random male comes upon it and he knows that it's not his offspring, he'll fucking kill it.
God.
All right, fellas. When there were 15 of you fucking raping this raping, did you... What did you think the probabilities would be? So fucking stupid. Anyways, the rape parties grow as large as 14 male dolphins against one female dolphin. Nasty.
Yeah, nature is not always beautiful.
Yeah, and there are... So, yeah, a lot of wildlife, marine animal enthusiasts. It's a lot. It's a mouthful. They'll be quick to point out, nature has no preconceived biases. If it's indicative of the ability to manifest emotional intelligence, we have a story that proves as such, and it is disturbing.
It is. So, I've got one for you about a dolphin trainer and her dolphin Peter. Okay. The woman's older now, in her late 70s, early 80s, I'd say by now. And she alleged to have this former sexual encounter with a dolphin during some NASA-funded research she was part of. So this researcher, her name is Margaret Howlett.
The way you said that makes it sound like NASA was funding human women to go in and jerk off dolphins.
Yeah. Well, Margaret Howlett, she was an animal lover. She was very passionate about it and wanted to help them in some way. She ended up joining that program when she was just 20 after her brother-in-law told her about it during Christmas in 1963.
So to study dolphins.
Yeah.
And her thesis was on trying to teach on dolphins how to speak English, wasn't it?
Yeah, so she worked with these dolphins trying to teach them to speak English. Which, I mean, maybe through, I don't think that they're going to be like, hi, how are you? How was your day? No, it's not like they're actually going to speak English, but it's almost like sign language, through their movements and stuff like that. So they're able to answer, questions and, stuff like that. I've heard about that.
Yeah, no, but when I first read that, I was like...
Yeah. But yeah, Margaret drove out to the lab and she was going to explore more about this program, and she met the director, Gregory Bateson, and she managed to impress him, and before she knew it, she was part of the program and he allowed her to get involved. Now, Margaret fondly recalls
oh God.
The dolphins that she would take care of. There was Peter, Pamela, and Sissy. There's 3 of them. Sissy, she was the biggest dolphin, pushy, loud, and sort of ran the show. And then there was Pamela, who was more shy and fearful. And then there was Peter. And let me tell you, Peter was a young guy. And he was, I quote, sexually coming of age and a bit naughty.
Oh my God, who wrote this article? They need to go to jail.
Oh,
That's disgusting. He was sexy, young, and of age.
Well, I think a lot of these are her actual quotes.
God.
When Margaret recalls these dolphins, Peter's the one that stood out because she, like I said, had sexual encounters with this dolphin. He would rub himself up against her knees and hands in this sexual way. And this isn't unheard of. I've seen YouTube videos or TikToks or whatever, where dolphins are getting on women and gyrating and stuff.
With your research.
Yeah. And
not
and
just
people
casual.
giggle. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
It happens. You go to SeaWorld and you go to pet the dolphins and
Get
then
more
all of a
than
sudden,
you. Sometimes you get more than you paid for.
Yeah. It's like a whole show. But yeah, so, and I quote, this is her words. Peter liked to be with me. He would rub himself on my knee, my foot, or my hand, and I allowed that. I wasn't uncomfortable, as long as it wasn't too rough. In the beginning, I would put him on the elevator and say, you go play with the girls for a day. It was just easier to incorporate that and let it happen. It was very precious and very gentle. Peter was right there. He knew that I was right there. So she was very passionate.
Precious?
Yeah. And this became a regular part of her studies as she was trying to teach Peter and the other dolphins English.
No.
Yeah.
So she would just let this dolphin gyrate on her.
Well, it gets
while
worse.
she's trying to teach the other ones English. I can't.
I mean, it's a bizarre thing. But she went on to add, it was sexual on his part, Peter the dolphin. It was not sexual on mine. Sensuous, perhaps.
What?
Why she says that, I don't know. It would just become part of what was like going on. It was an itch. You just needed to get rid of that.
Maggie.
Yeah.
Maggie.
It would just become part of what was going on, like an itch. Just get rid of that. We'll scratch and we would be done and move on.
You know, a little nonchalant dolphin frottage is all you need. I just, what?
Yeah, she said she was there to, teach Peter, get to know Peter, and that was just part of Peter. So essentially, she helped him.
What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean she helped him?
She would essentially jack this dolphin out. It was just easier for her to get it out of the way so she could get her job done,
Oh
right?
my God, I might have peed a little. What?
Yeah, that was a normal thing that went on. But the
Oh my
sad part
God.
is when you bring up morality and these dolphins having like an emotional response to something. Well, the thing is, Peter did. He was very attached to Margaret, and they found out just how real that was when the pair was separated after the experiment ran out of funding. And Peter was shipped 1,000 miles away to a small lab in Florida.
Nobody can do it like Maggie does it.
So
how I miss her so.
Yeah, so I mean, he was so heartbroken. 1,000 miles away at a new laboratory. So much so that a few weeks after the move, he killed himself. Ended his life in an act of suicide. A dolphin.
How does a dolphin kill itself, though? Not trying to make fun of suicide, but I mean, it's definitely not a gun. But I guess it just chucks itself against the glass until.
How does a dolphin kill itself?
How did
Flipper kill himself? What? Flipper. Fun facts about dolphin suicide. Dolphins, well, I guess in the movie Flipper, they had 5 different dolphins. I don't know if all 5 of them killed themselves because it was just too intense. But one did by refusing to breathe in its trainer's arms. So it just literally stopped breathing on purpose to kill itself.
Do you know how much effort that would take?
You would have to really want to die.
I don't think that's possible. I think you'd pass out, wouldn't you? Well, I mean...
Dude, I don't know.
Jesus Christ, so...
But yeah, I kind of imagine that Peter threw himself against the enclosure that he was in until, he just broke something and killed himself.
Or maybe they had one of those little hot dog stands at SeaWorld, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
With the little umbrellas. Maybe he, projectiled himself out of the pool and filleted himself.
Yeah.
On the umbrella. That's where my mind goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that story, as disgusting as it is, does remind us that dolphins are in fact emotionally intelligent animals. And thus, I think when it comes to the rape brigades, they are more than able to discern that that is fucky behavior.
Yeah. It's not fun.
I think so.
It's not fun at all.
But, now, swans, you're thinking gorgeous, genteel,
Majestic.
erudite. uh, just the picture of nobility and just sereneness. Have you ever watched The Swan Princess?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, it's a fairy tale in which, you guessed it, a princess is turned into a swan and must beseech a human man to kiss its beak to turn back into a woman.
Ooh, lovely.
Ooh, sexy.
Yeah.
I don't know how a swan seduces a human male, but I'm sure there are some interesting individuals out there who think that it's possible. But besides the obvious fact that consummating your love to a swan is unethical, you might not want to lean in and kiss that beak.
No.
It might be a kiss of death. Because swans, as well as geese and ducks, are known to be particularly aggressive around mating season when it comes to protecting their nesting sites. And so, I mean, you've probably been pursued by a goose before.
Oh, that has happened.
Not romantically, but
yeah,
in anger.
Yeah, I mean, I would come home from work, they'd be parked outside my house. I'd catch them outside of my window in the bushes. Geese are just not for me.
Obviously, they're tenacious. They're ferocious. They will bite the shit out of you. They will rear back, flap their wings. Well, swans do that too. Specifically, male swans will busk. So when they rear back and flap their wings like wild and hiss. I know, it's so cute until you lose a finger.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, if you've ever been swimming or kayaking in a lake, you'll know that the swan means business. Because in 2012, in Chicago, Illinois, a 37-year-old man named Anthony Hensley was kayaking in his neighborhood pond. He was feeding the swans, which have been introduced to the community to, oddly enough, keep the geese away.
Oh.
Trading one evil for another.
Oh, some pond sharks, if you will.
Pond sharks. Because geese are like in your face, like don't fuck with me, hiss hiss.
Give me your bread.
Swans seem to wait until you're in their. They lay in wait. They wait till you come to them.
Okay.
Okay. Because this guy was kayaking, feeding them. By God. And on this day, these two swans were not to be fucked with because they followed the kayak. They started attacking it, flipped it over. He's in the pond now. He's trying to swim to shore. And one of the swans just goes the extra mile and just starts pummeling him in the head and like biting him and like just fucking going ape shit on this man.
Bad swan.
Yeah. And he died. So this fucking swan drowned this man. Now you're thinking, that's crazy, but that's a one-off. It's not. Swans are actually, it's very characteristic of them to literally swim up, perch on the back of the other swan, and then hold its fucking head underwater with its own fucking neck and head. That's insane.
Nice. I mean, I would have never thought that swans were murderous.
One swan in particular,
Oh,
Mary.
God, there's more stories? This is a track record? Oh, God.
Was this one specific swan that was at the Castle Pond in Pembroke. He got a reputation for being a little bastard, and his name became Mr. Nasty because over the course of 1 year, several witnesses saw him murder 20 other swans in the pond. He would drown the other swans. Okay, and this is not uncommon. Like, you can look up so many stories of swans having to be relocated because they're just killing other swans.
Not cool. Not cool. I mean,
No.
is it like the males versus the females? What, like, is somebody just irresponsible and putting different sexes together that
No. Again. These are one-off. These are like one male swan. I think they said it was mostly male because they were so aggressive. But I'm sure maybe there's a murderess in there. Maybe.
I don't know.
Whatever. They're fucking mean.
Yeah.
Swan as itself is fucking mean, apparently. So, yeah, Mr. Nasty finally got relocated. But, you know, how intelligent is a swan? I don't know. I don't think that intelligent, honestly. But, I mean, maybe they're super.
I don't know.
But I'll tell you, I will take this time to tell you that one of the more intelligent animals that is directly related to us, we now have conclusive evidence that the chimpanzee is in fact a murderous piece of shit by nature.
Who would have ever thought? I would have never guessed. Ever. We love monkeys, chimps, apes. We love them, don't we?
Murderous pieces of shit that they are. Some scientists say they're, naturally predisposed to evil. Again, that brings up the question of morality. Are monkeys capable of it? And I can say with the story you're going to hear today, absolutely they're capable of morality and they understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you study any type of like work that's been done with chimps or apes, you realize that they are very emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
So I think they have the ability to discern. But Michael Wilson, the study's researcher of this study that went on for 57 years about chimpanzees. Yeah. He said that violence is a natural part of the life of chimpanzees. They don't need to be fed bananas to kill each other. In fact, the studies have led scientists to believe that chimpanzees are the only animals capable of organized onslaught attack, like warfare tactics, other than humans. Like, they will organize and attack other monkeys, other bands of chimpanzees.
Wow.
And they will get into these gangs together, like these groups of male chimpanzees, and they'll just go out and like find some lemurs and steal their children and rip the babies apart in front of the mothers. I mean, they're fucking mean.
Savage.
Like, chimps will have been recorded stealing human babies and killing them from like...
Could you fucking imagine going to the zoo? Like,
Oh,
baby's first trip to the zoo. Caden, Braden, Layden. Come on, guys. I have triplets, by the way. Caden, Braden, Layden. And, let's go to the chimp exhibit. Why don't we?
there's no more laden.
Oh, no.
There's no more laden. They're just nasty. And in fact, we have a very good example of a chimp that, oh God, this is just disgusting. This is awful. And I feel sorry for him, by the way. I don't wish any, hate or ill towards a monkey. They just creep me out.
It's a wild animal, right? And people that try to possess these animals and domesticate them are fucking stupid. They're stupid to me.
Like, why?
Like, something's gonna happen. Of course, something's gonna happen. These are wild animals.
It's like some yeehaw in the hills of North Carolina having a fucking puma. Why do you have a puma? Why? I mean...
Yeah, it's like Tiger King and, all that. These people are not quite right.
Just one, like, fat wallop to the temple and you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Kitty was playing, but you're dead still.
But this is, I mean, it's a sad story, this one. And I have told it before. It's about Travis the chimp and Sandra Harold, who treated Travis as her dear, sweet child. Her sweet angel baby, if I will. You know.
Oh.
And Travis's story starts off really kind of tragic and sad. He was born in Missouri at a chimpanzee sanctuary on October 21st of 1995. And he was sold to Jerome and Sandra Harold for $50,000. And he was
50 grand for a fucking monkey?
In 1995. That was a good bit of money.
For a permanent toddler that's going to run around and smear feces on the walls. $50,000.
Travis the chimp was only 3 days old. Literally taken off the tit of his mother, Susie. Another chimp there. You know what they fucking did to Travis the chimp's mom after that?
Oh, God, what?
She escaped from the sanctuary, so they killed her.
Like, did she go down in a hail of gunfire?
What I imagine is she was probably distraught after her newborn was taken from her and acted out. And instead of dealing with it, this sanctuary put her down. It's really fucked up. But Travis went on to live a pretty nice life, actually, a pretty lavish life. I'm a little jealous of Travis the chimp. He moved to Connecticut with his family and became kind of like a local celebrity there. He was going off with them everywhere, pretty much, and he was much like a child. He would dress himself, do chores,
times.
Ate meals with the family. He used a computer. I bet you he was on AOL. If only I would have found him. Back in the day? Well,
back
I was
in the day.
5 or 6, so no, probably not.
Mary's not talking to predators, she's talking to chimpanzees.
Yeah, get it right, Mom and Dad. But yeah, I mean, he loved ice cream trucks and could remember when they made their rounds, and he was said to really love baseball. Travis and the Heralds, Sandra Harold and Jerome, had many happy years together. But then tragedy struck the Harold's household when their child died in 2000, their only child, in a car accident.
Jesus.
And then just 4 years later, Jerome Harold lost his battle with cancer. So at that point, it was just Sandra and Travis. And of course, she leaned in, and her and the chimp became stronger, and that bond was very, very tight. They would eat meals together. They took baths together. And they slept together in the same bed every single night. That's quite a close relationship she had.
There's so many levels to this that are uncomfortable. Yeah. The fact that I don't know. There's many layers to that are uncomfortable.
I don't know, but the chimp was pretty much fine until all of these losses, because I think chimps are capable of having emotions and having these bonds. So I think, Jerome dying, their only child dying, and it just being Travis and Sandra.
Well, yeah, but she was also giving him Xanax all the time, wasn't she?
Yeah, so she did.
Hold on 1 second. My dog is being an asshole. Stop. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, he started to have some fits and some erratic behavior, and the first incident was in October of 2003. After he escaped their car and ran loose in Stamford, Connecticut, where they lived for a period of time, after somebody threw trash at him through a car's window. So somebody threw trash at him through the car's window, and he went fucking nuts. But the state laws of limiting primates to 50 pounds if they were pets and requiring owners to have a permit were, kind of because they had Travis for a long period of time, and they were
grandfathered in.
Yeah,
if you will.
he was exempt to that.
Okay.
And then just 6 years later, Travis made national headlines.
Because why?
Because he attacked Sandra Harold's friend, Charla Nash, after a seemingly normal encounter. Yeah. So Charla was a friend of Sandra and was a frequent visitor. It's not like Travis had never seen Charla before.
Right.
But she'd recently had a haircut. And Travis...
it does sound like her fault.
I mean, she should have, fucking called beforehand. Instead of surprising everybody with her fabulous haircut.
I mean, she really should have asked Travis's opinion.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But, nonetheless, she went there anyway. And Travis had not been acting himself for quite some time at this point, and really Sandra should have maybe limited her exposure to people and, this chimpanzee.
Yeah.
But
because he was having fits and stuff.
Yeah, and he was having to take Xanax to help calm himself. However, Xanax can worsen these erratic behaviors in these primates. So this was not a good situation. So Travis had ran out of the house with Sandra's car keys. And in an attempt to lure the chimpanzee back into the house, Charlie Nash held out his favorite toy, which is a Tickle Me Elmo doll. And even though the chimp recognized the doll and maybe knew it was Charla, I don't know. Maybe he didn't know it was because of the haircut.
Just flipped, didn't it?
But he got confused, really scared, and went into a complete rage and attacked Charla viciously outside of Sandra's home. So much so that she had to intervene by hitting her beloved chimp. This was like her child. You know it had to be bad for her to grab a shovel and start just pounding it into this chimp. That wasn't enough, and she had to grab a knife and start stabbing Travis the chimp. It didn't work.
And so the whole time he's just going at it, like clawing at her, biting her.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's horrible what he did to this woman. So Sandra's freaking out. She calls 911. It got bad enough where the monkey was breaking into the police cars. The police were having trouble getting this.
Yeah, they pulled up and he busted into the police car.
Yeah. So eventually, one of the officers there put several rounds into the monkey. It didn't die, but it ran into the house, into its enclosure, and then it died in there. So it took a lot to get this chimp down. Scared and injured, it just passed away at home in its little safe place. And Charla was going to have a long road to recovery. She did survive. I mean,
1 second, I think
So Sandra was obviously devastated after having to pretty much fight off her beloved chimp. And Charla Nash, after this attack, required many hours of surgery by multiple surgeons. Luckily, just barely surviving this incident. Travis had broken nearly all the bones in her face, tore away her eyelids, nose, jaw, lips, and most of her scalp.
Tore away her jaw?
Yeah. She was also rendered blind. And both of her hands were pretty much missing. I mean, there's just little bits and pieces remaining. Her injuries were so severe that the Stanford Hospital offered the staff that treated her counseling sessions.
That is fucked.
Yeah. And she had eventually flown to Ohio for an experimental facial transplant. And you can see some of these things on Oprah Winfrey's show. She appeared on there. And it's sad. She has a veil covering her face. You can tell that this is...
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can watch the whole... Yeah.
Yeah.
Her face transplant went pretty well, though. Yeah.
Yeah. You can see it. It was on November 11th in 2009 that she appeared on the Oprah Winfrey show. So you can look at that and you can also Google her. But in the end, by 2012, she went through a lawsuit suing her former friend. And she settled for about $4 million. And I'm pretty sure that was probably nowhere near... That probably just covered all of her medical bills, just barely.
Fuck.
But I mean, that's got to be a lot of expense, being able to cover something like that. But chimps, my friends, are nothing to mess with. Clearly.
Evil.
That's why if I meet anybody and they're like, oh, you should come over, I have a monkey.
No.
Like, no thanks. I'm not coming because you have a monkey.
I know, Olive.
Right, Olive? See, the
monkeys are disgusting. Yeah. Well, I feel sorry for Travis, but yeah. Jesus Christ, that's so scary. That's so scary.
It's scary.
I can't imagine how fucking terrified that woman was.
Yeah. It's wild. And I know we've talked about it before, about how much we don't like chimps. And we've also talked about Travis the chimp before, but it's been many moons ago.
Many
moons. So.
But yeah, we thought we would come on here and just, you know, talk about shitty animals.
Yeah, it's not just chimps. It's dolphins. It's swans.
It's swans. You know what's not a shitty animal? A corvid, a raven, a crow.
Oh.
Good animals. Look them up.
Okay.
Very smart.
There you go.
Very smart. Thank you for listening. We love you. Bye.
Bye.